So welcome back to Mr. Moore PE. We're going to look at long-term effects of exercise. And when you think long-term, think 6 weeks. Most of the time when you get a personal trainer, you won't expect to see immediate results overnight. And even after 1 or 2 weeks, it can be quite a long time for the body to adapt. And those adaptations can come in many forms. We're going to talk about some of them here. So first of all, the first thing to kind of put in your mind is that this is over a period of 6 weeks. We're not talking about immediate like we talked about in the last video. These will take some time to start to show signs of evidence. So one of the things that is similar between short and immediate, immediate and long term, is the heart rate. And in this case, we're talking about what we call recovery rate and resting heart rate. So there's two elements to it. We've got recovery and we've got resting. They both begin with an R, and you can confuse the two. Recovery heart rate is how quickly your heart rate gets back to its resting heart rate after exercise. So let's say that I do 5 to 10 minutes on the treadmill. I take my heart rate before I go on, and it's 62 beats per minute, because we measure heart rate in beats per minute, BPM. I then do my 5-10 minutes exercise, and I take my heart rate after. How many minutes does it take me to get back to my resting? Now let's say that in week 1 of my program, it took 5 minutes. That's quite a long time. That might insinuate that I'm not particularly cardiovascularly fit. Then by week 6, it might take me 3 minutes. We've made progressive overload there because of the difference. We've shaved 2 minutes off our time. And actually, I'm getting back to my resting heart rate quicker, and my recovery heart rate is quicker, so therefore I'm fitter as a result of that. The second thing that's really interesting to talk about is this concept of hypertrophy. Now, hypertrophy can come in 2 forms depending on what type of exercise you're doing. There's cardiac hypertrophy, because the heart is a cardiac muscle. We've also got muscular hypertrophy, so easy to get confused between the two. So let's talk about cardiac first. The heart is a muscle. It's not a voluntary muscle, it's not an involuntary muscle, it's a cardiac muscle, it's got its own category, and we can increase our heart size through high intensity interval training, altitude training. And what that will do is it will pump more cardiac output, blood out the heart per minute, and also stroke volume per beat. That blood will be more effective in getting to the working muscles. It will have more oxyhemoglobin. So the cardiac hypertrophy, the word hypertrophy means increase in muscle size. There's a cardiac aspect that I've just talked about, but there's also the muscular part. So let's say I'm going to the gym and I'm lifting weights, and what's going to happen is I'm going to damage these muscle fibers. They're going to have small microbleeds called hemorrhages, and they're going to come back thicker, bulkier and stronger. And we might want to increase our protein intake after exercise in order to make that happen. But that means that the muscles are getting bigger. Anytime the muscles are increasing in size, we call it hypertrophy. And inevitably over 6 weeks, you will be able to lift heavier weights, and the muscles will get bulkier, bigger, physically bigger, and you'll feel better about that. And that process is called muscular hypertrophy. We've already kind of talked about cardiac output. We're going to get more effective over time if we're looking at cardiovascular at shunting blood and getting blood out to the working muscles. And incredibly, we're going to get more effective at buffering lactic acid. And for example, on week 1, if I did 30 seconds of exercise and then I did 10 seconds of rest, by about week 6, I might be able to do 60 seconds of exercise with still having 10 seconds of rest, because my body will be better at adapting to those changes. So ideally, when we're talking about progress, we're talking about 6 weeks for long term. That's the golden number, and that's why the GCSE PEPs are 6 weeks long. Thanks for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll continue to build the channel and make more and more videos. Thank you.